A tale of two consoles. Hi, I'm David from Learn Stage Lighting, and today I thought of some really clickbaity things that we could name this video, like my new, what would we call that? My new top-of-the-line Onyx wing, or the best wing for your Onyx system, or the best Onyx device that you can't buy anywhere, exclusive look from Learn Stage Lighting. But as you guys know, I'm not clickbaity, but what I want to show you here is a couple things and ask a few questions. Essentially, an original Martin Maxxyz console, this beauty right here, showed up on Facebook Marketplace close to me from a company actually called churchgear.com. Now what Churchgear does is, it's a guy named Toby something or other, sorry Toby, Walters, and his company, and he's a guy that's basically specialized in for years selling used equipment for people and helping broker equipment deals for used stuff, which is awesome. And if you are a church or someone like that, their company's great. I've used it at the church that I volunteer at, where, you know, you buy something new, you're decommissioning an old piece of equipment, what happens? It ends up in a closet, right? If you go with Church Gear, they'll buy it, they'll pick it up, it's awesome. And so I was trading in some stuff for my church anyways, to put back into our budget, and then I saw this thing come up and I was like, well, if I'm gonna go down there anyways, you know, why not, right? So I put the word out there, hey, should I pick up this original Martin Maxxyz console? And the responses were interesting, to say the least. You know, there were some, yes, of course, if it's, you know, somebody else, of course you're going to say yes. There were some, hey, it's not worth your times. There were some, hey, if you want to make it, you know, if you want to spend the time to convert it over to Onyx, whatever, make it worth your time, go do it, right? And so, you know, I was like, okay, let me just pick this thing up, see how bad of shape it is, because of course, you know, it was advertised as being broken, like all good things. And so, you know, there's a couple real things that I want to get into with this video, basically. Is, number one, look at this thing. It's running. The faders are moving. There are cues playing. I'm even controlling this light in the backdrop right here. You see that? Oh, I could turn on, if I had plugged in my other stuff, it would be on. How in the world am I doing that with a console that is 18 years old today? I believe it's 18 years old, 2005, okay? Am I running Onyx on this? Well, kind of. And so that's the really cool thing about these, and why I think people love them, is the Onyx team has never, whether before when they were with Martin, now that they're with Elation, they've never, ever, ever said, okay, we're putting out, you know, version 4 of the software or version 3. Everything old gets cut out, right? You can't use it anymore, okay? Because this console, just take a look at it, you know, it's from 2005, right? I mean, and it shows some signs of wear. There's, you know, rubber missing at various places. It's actually in pretty good shape for how old it is, but, you know, some keys are kind of rubbed off. Faders, some of them, if I move them from the other console, sometimes you move the faders like 6 is pretty bad. And it kind of makes a little noise. It's kind of struggling at the top there. Some of them jump a little. But overall, you know, it's in really good shape in the sense that, you know, most of the buttons are lighting up that are supposed to. All of the buttons are actually working on this console, which is awesome. All of the faders are technically working, thanks to compressed air and deoxit. And it really didn't take a lot. The console itself doesn't work, right? The computers inside the console aren't working. Okay, so how do I have this thing running Onyx, right? And that's where I say it's a testament to the team, because I am actually plugging this into an NX1 at this moment, okay? So this is an Onyx NX1, and we've got the Maxxyz plugged into it. You can also plug it into Onyx on a PC. And the remarkable thing, and the remarkable cool thing about this and with the team, is that the faders work. Okay, so I move the fader here, it moves. I move it back in on the NX1, you know, the faders move. The buttons, you know, I'm pressing go, the active cue list is going over here in Onyx. If I go ahead and select a fixture, let's select, and then I pop over to this camera, whoop, that camera, My encoder belts, yes, they are controlling the light. I can switch between the parameter groups, and I loved these LCD keys. All of them work on this, which is really stinking cool. My trackpad, if I go to pan tilt, put it in pan tilt mode, you'll see my trackpad works. All the other parameters too, if we dial something in, they work. We can work with them, etc. So, what is this? Oh, why in the world am I here? You know, I could make this a clickbaity title, right? The new Onyx wing, you know, the new epic Onyx wing, whatever. But I think it's really stinking cool that, you know, and one of the things I've always loved about Onyx is, unlike a lot of other manufacturers, because if you think about back in 2005, what consoles were new? What were we running? We were running like Hog 2s. Actually, what year did the Hog 3 come out? Just a second. Okay, I stand corrected. So Hog 3s had just come out at about the same time, but Grand MA 2, I believe, was not out yet. Okay, another quick Google. Yes, indeed. So MA2 came out in 2008, so we're a few years ahead of that here. We're in MA1 time, which debuted in 97. And I have used MA1s, well, it's been a couple years, but they were still alive and kicking as a few years ago. But if I go grab a Hog 2 or a Hog 3 wing, I don't think I can plug it into the current software and make it work, right? If I grab a Hog 3 console, I can't plug it in USB and make it work. If I grab an MA1 console, my goodness, there's no way I'm going to be able to plug that into a current MA3 PC setup or an MA3, console, right, and get it to work as a wing. Never. But here, it's working fully as a control surface. So what could I possibly do with this thing? What could we possibly do with it on this channel if enough people write, or if somebody else is potentially interested? One, I could keep the road case and use it for an NX4 or some other setup like that, because it's got a really nice road case, and the case that came with it is in good shape. Martin always made good cases. It's just missing its wheel board, but I'm decent with carpentry. I can make a new wheel board real quick. Okay, so number one, we could ditch the console, keep the case. Number two, some people have gone in and literally gone ahead, pulled out the screens, put in new screens, and rebuilt this from the ground up. Okay, because the reason I'm actually able to control this here today, and the reason why this works, is because this console is all really modular on the inside. And some people hated that, and I know it perhaps made them kind of unreliable at times. But the fact that I can literally press two buttons, open the hood, it's just like a car. And then on the inside, I pulled out, there's a metal shield that goes between the bottom components and the top components. I did pull that out, but there's basically the two PCs that ran the original console. They're not, I don't believe they're in use at all right now. And I just started unplugging USBs. Oops, just unplugged my console. Until I found the USB that gave me control from a computer or from another console, right? And then I grabbed a USB extension cord, ran it out here through where the keyboard pops out, because that's where there was a hole. If I were doing this permanently, I would drill a hole in the back, make it look cleaner. And then ran that out to my NX1 on my PC, and then you're good to go. So some people, gut these things out, right? Pull out the computers, pull out anything that's not new, and use it as a console. By the way, if you wanted to see what the old Martin USB, the red keys looked like, there they are. It's red. It doesn't do anything anymore. I could use it, as a control surface, right? So, with the PC setup, right? It could work if I knew of a venue or somewhere that basically wanted a console for free to use with a PC, and they had space. That's the key, because this guy's pretty big. The USB ports, I know for a fact, rather, that the DMX ports are not going to work on it. You're not going to get those working. The license, that red key, you're not going to get licensed output from Onyx. So, when I plug this into the computer, it has no license. The faders will work, sure. The buttons will work. You can program, but output's not going to happen. So you've got to have an output device. So overall, I'm going to sit on it. you know, it's really stinking cool that I've got, you know, this Grandmaster and Flashmaster section, all these faders, all these buttons, like everything basically works. As you can see, you know, if I switch banks, some of the faders get a little bit angry, but I've left this on for hours, and since I deoxidized and cleaned them out, used deoxit, the faders are working reliably. Like none of them start jittering basically on the other console. They stay reliable. So what do you think? What should I do with this thing? I don't know. I'm going to think about it myself. We'd love to know your comments, but ultimately, you know, hope you guys enjoyed this. Maybe you nerded out for a second with me and found it enjoyable. It is cool to look at old consoles, and I love to do it to save at least a road case from the junkyard, and maybe a console too. Who knows? So with that, thanks so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe here if you love Onyx, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Have a great day.